evening. Good, everybody. Something. I don't know what I'm saying, but it is what it is. And I'm a main man cowboy.
You're kind of robot-y, brother. Do you have a different connection, or
I am. How about now?
that's a little better?
A little better. I guess, man. I don't know, man. The internet's been kind of,
A little funky.
yeah, a little funky today. So hopefully it holds.
Well, give him that gorilla freaking intro. Like let's get that preacher level shit.
Let's do it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's the one and only notorious V, the Gorilla, coming to you live on this edition of ESW Exit Strategy World Rogue News with my main man Cowboy, working the airwaves, making sure the broadcast is coming out crispy and clean. You know what I mean? Check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on X at ESW Rogue News, at ESW Rogue News, and we're on every single podcasting app known to humanity, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth, and on every single platform, plus a bag of chips. And with that being said, also check out our paid sponsor, AlgoFactory.tech, AlgoFactory.tech. Learn to trade like a hedge fund pro, AlgoFactory.tech. It is the place where you can learn how to execute the trades, whether gold is climbing and the markets are tumbling, whether Bitcoin took a dump. No matter what happens in the world, learn how to profit from the chaos. Learn to trade, again, like a hedge fund pro, and they're giving away a free algorithm. And click the link in the grab, learn how to put it to work, AlgoFactory.tech. And with that being said, Cowboy, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. Since you got a little bit garbled up on that last bit there, I'll go ahead and repeat it. We have an algo. I put it together, put it in a video, showed you how I built it, showed you how I used Grok AI to translate it into code and to put it on the chart, gave you the tools so that you can connect it to your exchange after you have optimized it and learn how to have a trade for you. It doesn't mean that you should do that. You definitely need to learn a lot more before you do that. It's just there for education purposes. Hopefully, V, you can have whatever reception issue kind of solved before we get too far into today. But what are we talking about today? We got Trump, of course, the notorious tweeter in chief, doing his thing.
Yeah, we got that. We have he's also in the Knesset in Jerusalem. Jerusalem. How are you going to gather you as a hand gathers a cheese?
You sound like a robot with a funky accent or something. Are you on like wireless connection?
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi, man.
Yeah, well, no, that's different. I mean, like you're not using cellular data.
No. You know what happened? There's been a major storm that's been ripping through this area.
Okay.
And I think that's probably what it is. How do I sound? Still bad?
No, you're good now. But every so often, you robot out.
I'm watching Wi-Fi bar. It keeps going up and down, up and down.
Yeah, that's why I always jack directly in. But I don't think that would help you. I don't use Wi-Fi.
No, I don't think it would help me either because of the fact of all the storms and whatnot. You know.
Well, we will suffer through.
Hopefully, it stays clear and we're good and whatnot. So that's my biggest gripe.
Look, we put the link for the algo in the description if you're interested in that. So just go there and do that. But we got the tweeter in chief, man. What do you think?
Yeah, let's start off with Trump, and then we'll get into the crypto crash. Then we'll talk about gold and silver running. We'll also talk about the LBMA imploding. Lots going on, guys. This is like there are weeks where nothing happens, and there are weeks that are decades happen. Today's one of those weeks, man. I tell you right now, it's one of those weeks. Trump is in the Knesset. He is bragging about what's his name, the Satan and Lucifer himself. Lucifer's butt plug, also known as Benjamin Netanyahu. It's unbelievable. My God, I'm looking at some of the charts coming in here. It's freaking nuts. Lots to talk about, but let's just start here with this Netanyahu, this fucking moron. Excuse my French. Don't excuse my French. Trump urges pardon for Netanyahu at Knesset. Cigars and champagnes, and who the hell cares? I have an idea, Mr. President. Why don't you give him a pardon? Give him a pardon. Come on up, Trump said, pointing at Netanyahu during his big Monday speech before the Knesset in Jerusalem, upon the historic release of all the remaining Israeli hostages by Hamas. Trump stated, by the way, there was not in this speech, you probably know, he said, as the pro-Netanyahu lawmakers gave Trump a long-standing ovation, which actually happened more than once during and after the somewhat lengthy address. When Trump talked about the idea of a pardon, Knesset members shouted, "BB, BB." Like, this is sick. BB's a fucking criminal. Just disgusting. Pointing at Herzog, Trump said, but I happen to like this gentleman over here, and it seems to make so much sense. And that's when he called Netanyahu one of the greatest wartime leaders ever. And the cigars and champagne, and who the hell cares? Netanyahu's trial goes back to 2019 over the years, and if people don't tend to forget what Netanyahu was in for, he was in for fraud, breach of trust, and bribery. Okay? Allegations range from illegally receiving expensive gifts on political favors to quid pro quo agreements with Israeli media sources for more favorable coverage to authorizing telecom-related regulatory decisions to benefit friends and allies. The opposition in Israel has long accused. I wonder how much of Bibi's friends made a killing off that TikTok purchase. Gee, I wonder who.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. The opposition in Israel has long accused Netanyahu of seeking prolonged war in Gaza for the sake of his own political survival, all the while living a lavish lifestyle. I think this is exactly what this asshole does. As for Trump's reference to cigars and champagne, maybe he referenced cigars. Maybe it has something to do with me, cowboy. I don't know.
I don't know. Perhaps, I was just in the wrong room with the wrong time with the wrong cigar,
I love a baby in uniform. That's what I said. I told Hillary, I said, Hillary, look, I don't know how my DNA got on her dress. I have no idea. I mean, I was brushing my teeth. She came in the room. I startled and I turned around and there goes my DNA.
Squirt radical. Okay, I'm not going to say that. Okay. I'm not going to say that.
Submitted includes recordings, text messages, police documents, notably testimony from key figures, including Hollywood producer Aaron Michlan, who has brought to light extravagant gifts and little boys allegedly given to Netanyahu and his wife, including champagne and cigars. Champagne. Oh, wow. Trump calls on Netanyahu. Okay, cigars and champagne. Who the hell cares about it? Netanyahu is standing trial for bribery. What's with these people in the number 7? 700,000 shekels, approximately $210,000 worth of luxury goods and bribes. So this whole bullshit goes down. For those that don't know the 7,000 reference, that's what he paid every influencer. Which coincidentally, if you look at the amount of money that the Sanhedrin paid Judas Iscariot to betray Jesus, it was 33 pieces of silver. 33, of course, we have that Masonic occultic number, right?
I thought it was 33. Forgive me for derailing you here, but I thought it was 30 pieces of silver to Judas.
No? Oh, you're right. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, 30 pieces of silver, which coincidentally translates to $7,000 today.
Yeah, it was like roughly just like a little over a month or two's worth of income.
I tell you what, Schliemann, give me 700,000 shekels. Okay.
This is a couple of months of income. What's 7,000 shekels or whatever it is between friends?
Yeah, so this whole shit show is happening, and this is hot on the heels of the crypto crash on Friday. And it's funny, if you've been part of Algo Factory, you'd heard Cowboy and myself say we were looking at Bitcoin going to 121, 124, whatnot. We're like, this thing's going to pull back hard. And as sure as shit, Trump tweeted out on his Truth Social about all these retaliatory tariffs against China. Like that's going to do anything. This is the most dumbest thing ever. And literally, bro, within 24 hours before he said that, there were some key whale wallets that have positioned themselves, and within 1 second of him saying those words on his Truth Social, the timestamps are all there, they executed their trades, creating a massive crash, a flash crash in the crypto markets. Hundreds of millions of dollars were wiped out for many, many people, and hundreds of millions of dollars were made. Right, there was one wallet that put in 80 million, front loaded it, and on the other side of this whole crypto crash, literally went to over 100 million in profit. It was stupid, right? And the only people that have the ability to do that are institutional players. Okay, a lot of people are thinking that it's because maybe Jared Kushner has 80,000 bitcoins sitting in his personal cold wallet or something like that. No. These are institutional players, but these institutional players are clearly have the well. You can't even deny this at this point. These institutional players, whom all they're doing right now, and Cowboy and I have been warning about this since day one, they are completely just constricting the crypto market like you would not believe. Okay, where they are controlling the on ramps, the off ramps, any sort of exit ramps are being completely curtailed and cut off. Okay, it's an institutional game, but you also have to admit the crypto industry is also it's so rife with so much fraud. It's so rife with so much shenanigans that's going on. And a lot of it is institutional players, believe it or not, or connected to institutional players. They just get away with it, right? In some regards. This is how they legally wiped out hundreds of millions of dollars of wealth that people have been saying. People's life savings that have been in crypto have been wiped out. And, there was one guy who was a crypto trader. He actually committed suicide in his Lamborghini, bro. Did you hear about that?
I did. Yeah. It's, I heard it was suicide. I know there were some questions about that, but there's a guy who's been around for a long time in crypto. He said it was suicide. So probably that's the case.
If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If you are in Ukraine and you're flashing wealth while people are dying, and he ran like a crypto, they teach you crypto company. So you might have had some clients who might have lost some money. Who knows? Like if you're flexing a Lambo in Ukraine in the middle of a war, like, you know what I mean?
You're buying houses on Lake Geneva.
Right. And probably taking some guy's girlfriend and
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
the coincidence, it's for this type of major power move to occur with this type of insight into the Trump administration is extremely concerning. Somebody made a shit ton of money off of this at the expense of so many people, right? There are so many people that have absolutely lost an absolute lot in terms of what they had, in terms of their life savings, their crypto investments and whatnot. Very, very disheartening when it comes to that. Cowboy, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, so there were, I forget the number, some record amount of money that was stripped out of the market, probably due to a lot of leveraged trades. And so just understand, like, if you're ever going to use leverage, there's a lot of crackheads who have no idea how to use it. And they just, think they're going to get rich because they could go 100 to 1. And if you're going to play with leverage, know what you're doing. That's all I got to say. It's a good way to lose your money really quickly. And you want to take measured moves anytime you're investing in trading. And that's, you want to make sure that you're exercising what's called money management, not betting the farm. And we teach all this stuff at Algo Factory as far as how to do that. And, just this is what happens when you have people who have no idea what they're doing to try to play in financial markets. That's what happens.
And right now, the type of chicanery that is occurring on the institutional side with crypto is look, when banks and institutions are involved, and these zombies, all they want to do is chase the yield. They will do anything in their power to affect the market in such a way where it only benefits them, and they don't care who they wipe out in the process because they're chasing the yield. This is the next big thing they want to control. They understand that, they know the plans. The plan is to offload a great deal of the U.S. Treasury debt into the crypto market and then pull the rug, right? I hope the people that are involved in this become more astute. I'm talking about the people that have been victims of this, become more astute, that they don't repeat the same patterns. But they also understand that this is a rigged game. It's so rigged. There's nothing free market of what's happening in crypto. Anybody who's telling you that, oh, yeah, this is a free market at play, and it's going to be a way to revolutionize humanity and improve the lives of people everywhere.
We're going to democratize the use of cat food, and
that's what it's going to increase the speed of invoicing for Netflix. And it is the most. I can't believe what the crypto industry is involved to. Okay, and if you're going to trade it, you need to learn how to trade it properly. Algo Factory Tech. You need to have the right type of trade psychology in effect. Algo Factory.tech. That psychology is you're not married to any of this stuff. You have to be completely apathetic to anything that you hold, okay, and clinically trade this in the most pragmatic way possible, which Algo Factory.tech shows you how to do that. But the more bigger point is here: who are these individuals that are tied to the Trump administration that knew that he was going to tweet that and in the exact same time implode this entire market? If anybody else were to do this, like if Cowboy, for you yourself or me or anybody else that try to do this, that's prison time, bro.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of it during like the meme coin time, and that was allowed because meme coins are not regulated. Just it doesn't even matter if it's crypto or stocks or anything. The only thing that's not like Fugazi is probably going to be, precious metals that you hold physically. I mean, besides that, anything else is extremely manipulatable. And that does kind of segue us into what I sent you this morning about Shanghai and London. Do you want to go there?
Yeah, let's go there. Let's get into it, man. Why don't you open it up and I'll chime in?
Yeah, give me one moment. I got it right here in the feed. There it is. What I put in there was London is done. Shanghai calling the shots, but I'm going to share the screen so y'all can see what we're talking about. Because this is something, V the Guerrilla, you've been talking about this. I mean, look, you and I have been doing these kind of videos and working together going back to like 2017.
Yep.
And you've been talking about it because, you're the precious metals guy. And you've been talking about this going back to like that time. Yep. So here it is now, 8 years later, happening. So what this says here by VBL's Ghost, which is Soren Thank, and this actually was retweeted by Tom Luongo, who we're going to have on next Monday, which is great, man. I love Tom's work. Yeah. So tonight, the LBMA markets were backstopped, aka derived by the SGE, which is the Shanghai Gold Exchange, if I'm not mistaken. That acronym, right, V?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you always know who you always know who's going to be the right winger or the whoever idiot. The CCP has just removed the LBMA as an obstacle to physical trading and settlement. London is done, and we're okay with it in the U.S. So yeah, I'll go ahead and read further down what he wrote here. Retweeted his own tweet. The LBMA is worse than a national security risk. Its operation is detrimental to the welfare of the whole Western world. It embodies hemispherical security risk. Dissolve it before its bureaucratic self-interest further erodes our sovereign wealth. And this actually is not surprising that Tom Luongo would retweet this, because his theory, among many, is that what we've been doing with our interest rates, holding them high for a period of time, SOFR versus LIBOR, getting rid of LIBOR, institution of SOFR back in 2023. And I'm not going to get too far into the plumbing of that, but the end result here is that London was basically bled of its precious metals and its ability to control them. The LBMA is the London Bullion, what is it, Market Association, V? What does it stand for?
London Bullion Market Association, correct.
Yeah, so the LBMA, V, you know a bit more about the history of LBMA, so why don't you take over and kind of tell people the significance of what has happened?
Yeah, it's huge, man. I mean, the LBMA has officially been known as the LBMA since the 80s, but the actual concept, the actual working modality of the LBMA and its concept goes back to the late 1700s, actually before even the United States was even a country, right? Moses Moscata was the one of the key individuals that were working with the Bank of England to create the LBMA, along with the Rothschild banking family that helped create the infrastructure that eventually becomes the LBMA. And it basically is not only a thing where you grading gold, but it's also a network, a very tight network of vaulting companies, bullion banks, sovereign wealth funds, and bullion brokerages that are all linked as that's known as the London Bullion Market Association key core members, right? And what that does, okay, it creates a very, very strict, very audited in terms of its procurement, delivery, and all that other stuff for vaulting in overseas in certain jurisdictions that are safe jurisdictions and that allows full liquidity. So if you're It's something that the wealthy have done throughout the centuries, where they will place their wealth in gold in a vault like Switzerland or something like that. And when a local economy collapses, they're able to come in very quickly and swiftly and buy these assets for pennies on the dollar. That's how it started, right? And that's how it began. And everybody was cool with that, right? It was a grading standard, and it was the Good Delivery Network was very powerful in terms of its delivery, able to deliver physical, high quality bullion. Like, there's thousands of refineries out there, but only a handful are LBMA certified. So these are the best of the best refiners that are constantly audited, constantly looked at, constantly, very paranoid network. And what's been happening is the London LBMA within London itself, within the core of London itself, their own, institutional storage over there, which for years worked on everybody and their grandmother was vaulting there, right? Every institution and their grandmother was vaulting at the LBMA in London. And if there was going to be a purchase of gold, all we're doing, like Cowboy wanted to buy, he's institution A and I'm institution B. He wants to sell me metals. I buy it from him, and all it is just a ledger change. The actual gold never leaves London. And everybody was cool with that. Everybody was fine. But as global events are going and people start realizing that Western economies are a bunch of crackheads, that they can't be trusted as far as you can throw them, a lot of people are taking delivery of their gold. They're like, yeah, I don't want to keep it in London. I want to have it moved. Now it's such a situation where there's not enough gold to cover all the outflows that are happening. And they're getting into a crunch. So the LBMA is scrambling right now. The LBMA is calling up COMEX. COMEX is like, well, we're having the same problem. Because now in the COMEX and the CM, they're also like, hey, you know what? There are people that are requiring physical delivery. And it's also happening in the CMNY, right? People want physical delivery. And this is becoming a huge problem. And that's where we're seeing this issue. And we all know about, the futures and all the fraud on the back end with a lot of these key banks and players who've been shorting the gold market, shorting the silver market. The cats are all out of the bag. It's unstoppable right now. Gold, silver cresting $52, gold breaching 4,100. Folks, we're off to the races. We're off to the races. This is incredible to witness all of this, and it's truly remarkable to say the least. So now, and for the longest time, Shanghai, the last, I think, my God, almost 10, 12 years, have been ramping up as a major alternative to the LBMA. And you also have the SBMA, the Singapore Bullion Market Association as well. These two, the Shanghai Precious Metals Exchange, right, the Shanghai Bullion Market, and the Singapore Bullion Market Association have really stepped up to the point where, why do we even have London anymore? Why should these people be trusted with anything? And so this is what's happened. There's an entire global shift. I've talked about it for many, many years. Hell, even before me, Jim Willie's been talking about it. So it's like, it's finally here, guys. It's finally here. And the shift to reality, to a physical-based economy, is occurring right before our eyes. And it's going from the west to the east. Cowboy.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's something we've talked about for a long time. And I think it's just the end result of, look, I don't want to go too far on this, but we went ahead and made a decision to allow China to have our business back in the 90s or the 80s, whenever it was that the deal was really made. Now, it really started to ramp up late 90s, early 2000s. They got included in the AFL-CIO or whatever it was. And long story short, they went ahead and educated their populace going back probably earlier than that. Yeah, 70s, says Rob B. Yeah, probably. And they went with applied sciences in China. And so they started manufacturing things, and they started doing better than we did while we're messing around with string theory, which is just a joke. It's not even real. And they just make better products than us, and they leapfrogged us in science. So when you manufacture things, when you allow a market economy, and what they've done over there, whether you like them or not, whether you like how they did it or not, whether you think that they were too authoritarian or not, what they did was they didn't allow the bankers to kind of control the government too much. They kept the government in charge. Now that really depends whether or not that's going to be a good thing depends on the government. And so far over there, it does appear that it's a better thing than it's better than not, right? It seems that they have the people's interest, at heart. And I know everybody's going to argue China bad and there's not, and they're killing their people. Okay, sure. I know people who live there. They say they love it. From what I can see, the government seems to care about the people. It just has to take some extraordinary measures to deflect what I think are outside attacks. Under any circumstance, their economy is powerful and they're the future of manufacturing. They're the present of manufacturing. And because they make things, they now have the ability to command markets. And they're planning to take over financially. And I don't think there's anything anybody can do about it. It's a matter of time. So what they've done, and I don't know who they worked with, maybe us, maybe Russia, maybe nobody, but they've been able to supplant the control of precious metals. I think you were saying that over at the the Shanghai Gold Exchange, they're doing 100 times of real gold that we were doing even through the COMEX, right?
Correct. 100%.
So if that's the case, and that's been going back for years, Shanghai has actually been doing real deals while the U.S. is doing paper deals. Right. People settling in dollars rather than metals. Hey, man, it's been going on for a long time. But as this continues and as the West continues to lose power because of terrible decisions, going to this financial economy, teaching what in the butt at Harvard, not producing good students, not producing good workers, this is the end result. Eventually, the finance will move to where there is a real economy. And that's what we're seeing. And that's what we're talking about here. We're finally seeing it actually happen today. So that's what I got to say about it.
No, very well said, man. And these are the key markers that's happening in other news. I mean, you look at what's happening right now. I mean, never seen anything like it amid historic short squeeze. Silver traders rush bars to London because there's such a dearth of it over there. There's such a crunch there. On top of that, India funds halt silver ETF investment amid unprecedented global shortage. I mean, how many times have you and me and so many other guys who have come on board Rogue have said, hey, man, silver is we're running out of silver. So, I mean, we're consuming silver in such a rate that it could potentially disappear from the periodic table. That's how much silver we're utilizing between industrial uses as well as investment uses. There's a tremendous upside. So nobody's moving anything. Everybody's on a crunch. And why is everybody on a crunch? Why is everybody bleeding London dry to the tune of 5,000 metric tons a month? Why? Why are they jumping on silver like you would not believe? Why?
Well, I thought crypto is going to be supposed to be like the most amazing thing that's going to happen and revolutionize finance and, just make like invoicing great for butt plugs and all this other stuff.
But in reality, serious countries are amassing metals. Why? Because we know the dollar is on its last legs. The dollar is going to be revalued. Is that going to happen tomorrow? I don't think so. Is that going to happen next week? I don't think so.
It's been happening for decades.
It's been happening for decades. But the final coup de grace, we're probably a few years out from the final coup de grace, from occurring. But that's where we are right now. We're in a monumental position in human history where another speculative financial instrument, a fiat currency, is about to bite the dust, and this time it's ours. And we have no gold, irrespective of what, trust us is deep storage. Okay, sure. No one's going to trust us anymore. We lost that trust a long time ago, Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. If we still have it, we may. It would be because it's part of a much larger cooperation. But and I'm talking about like a cooperation between all of the powers that really are tired of what's been going on in Western Europe for 300 years during their colonialism. And, it is what it is. So it may be that we do have it, but that's because we're positioned to have it and everybody agrees that we can and should. It may be that we got rid of it. It may be that we didn't. It may be that we got rid of it and got some back. But in the end, if you don't have gold as a country, then there's a really good chance you're going to be in trouble when everything changes. Because gold's neutral. right? So people look at gold as, oh, they're making money. It's like, well, actually, gold is a way that very well, like the extremely big players, they're not concerned with like making money on gold. It's not what they're doing. They want to put their assets in a place that's like they're not going to shrink or they're not going to fall as fast when everything else falls apart. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
They have so much power that sure, they might take a short-term hit while everybody else is. As long as they're falling slower than everybody else, then they're winning. It's all relative. So, but that's interesting stuff. And, and there's a lot of, you can kind of tell that the hold on the U.S. is eroding because you have a less of a trust in places like Israel. You have a continuingly diminishing trust in Western Europe. Sure, you're going to have the nuclear, the North Korea level propaganda that got friends of mine like Short Bus Mooner talking about China has corruption on every level. And okay, you know what? Name a country that doesn't. And at this point, I'd say we probably have far more corruption than China does based on, shoot, man, just look at the markets over here. We have the biggest financial markets in the world. Where do you think all the corruption really is?
Right.
Where do you think it is? We push numbers around on computers and extract wealth from people by doing it. Yeah. Is there any bigger corruption than that? Certainly not by the numbers. So, everybody needs to stop. Unless you've been to China, which I have, unless you know people who live there, which V and I both do. Yep. Like they love it there. People I know who like
I can't pay them to move back, bro.
You can't. Yeah, they won't come back.
And these are Westerners. These are Americans and Europeans. Yeah. I can't pay them to come back.
I got a buddy that I used to work with 25 years ago. He's a black dude. He moved over there. He loves it. I talk to him like probably once or twice a year. Yeah, I can't get him to come back. He's making a shitload of money over there. Like he's doing great. Like, people are happy there. So unless you have been there, know people there, understand the situation over there. Yeah, sure. There are always things that you don't like about a place. And if you're poor,
right?
What's that?
No place is 100% perfect.
No place is perfect.
But they run a more efficient government and civic work than we do. I mean, look, you can't have a corrupt government and then build monumental bridges and infrastructure in record time, faster, bigger, and better than anyone else on the planet if you're corrupt. It just doesn't work that way. You can't have corruption and be absolutely corrupt and then like 90-some-odd% of your population absolutely loves you. Right? If you try to take out the CCP, you know who's going to fight you? The Chinese people.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them is going to take you out if you try to do that.
And that's how much
they love it. Yeah,
they have gripes with their own government. Like they're actually allowed to talk about it too, believe it or not.
Shocking, right? Shocking.
I know. But understand that, like, sure, wherever you go, there are always going to be poor people, right? There's probably poor people still, lots of them in China. I guarantee you there's a whole mess of poor dregs, just like there is in the US, just like there is everywhere else. But I don't want to get on like a pro-China rant here. Just we need to kind of think about cleaning our own side of the street. We need to sweep off our own front porch before we cast aspersions on other countries where we've never been to those countries and we don't know anybody in those countries.
Yeah.
So you just understand that. What else, V? We got something else on the menu?
No, I think that covers it. These are big newses. These are big news.
Big newses.
Big newses for those that are paying.
Well, there was the Trump. So Trump tweeted. We were going to bring this up. Trump tweeted on Friday that President Xi Jinping is going to hold back strategic metals, and Trump says he's going to fire back, and we're going to do tariffs, and it's going to be 100% tariff. And then Bitcoin went from like, I don't know, 100 and I'll look on the chart briefly here, but
it was like 124 or something like that, and just collapsed below 110.
Yeah, it went down to 109, 124. I mean,
yeah,
dude, I've been around in crypto since like 2017. This is nothing. I remember the what do you call it? The summer of, what was it? 2017. And Bitcoin fell by like something like 50%, like an actual 50%, just because China said that they would like ban it. Right. I mean, this is like not even a 50. This is like, I don't know, whatever percent it is. I can't think right now. It's going to be like a 7 or 8% crash 10 at the
Sure.
most, and
Right.
everybody's freaking out. Of course, now Bitcoin is a much bigger market than in crypto's a bigger market. When of course, they've lost more dollar-wise in that single crash than a lot of people did. I know we talked about it earlier, but what we want to focus on here is I told Algo Factory, I'm like as soon as it happened, and I actually had gone to sleep because my hours are pretty crazy right now, and I wake up in the kind of the early afternoon to all this crap, and I'm like, okay, everybody calm down, stop panicking. And we got guys that are friends of mine in there that are just kind of complaining, oh, it's all corrupt and Trump, and okay, water's wet, Trump tweets, and markets react. These are all things that we can get used to and take advantage of. But if anybody's paid attention over this last year, hey man, Trump always reverses it. He'll make an announcement on a Friday, and then usually on a Monday, maybe before the market open or just after, he'll be like, okay, we're going to back off. And, I talked to President Xi.
I talked to Xi.
Yeah, that was good. I talked to Xi. And, long story short, that's what happened. It happened on Sunday. And then, everything kind of calmed down. That initial candle was bought up more than 50% within the first hour or two before Trump even said anything. And I told Algo Factory, I'm like, look, Trump's going to change his mind, most likely. And that's what happened. And then the traditional finance TradFi, like your NASDAQ, S&P, they all gapped up massively on Sunday when they opened up. Crypto came back up to within range of where it was before. So one thing to know about finance, trading, and pretty much anything and everything, those who panic are those who lose.
Yep.
And a lot of people panicked when that happened, and that's why they lost. And guess what happened at the bottom of that? First of all, there was the guy who, like you said, it was the guy who shorted and made $200 million. But okay, so fine, whatever. Somebody got the word. It might have been Trump's guys. I don't know. We live in that kind of world, right? We want to call China corrupt, and yet we got one of Trump's buddies making $200 million because he got a phone call, right? If it's even Trump's buddies. It might have been somebody who knew what Trump was going to say and leaked it to one of his buddies. It could have been fucking George Soros. We don't know, right? But what we do know is that happened, right? So what happened right after that? Trump said something, markets went back up. How many people went long right there, right? This is just what it is, and it gave a lot of volatility for people who like to day trade too. So I told people, if you're going to panic, there's two things that are going to happen. You're going to have a negative experience because you're panicking. Your body's not going to take it very well, cortisol, heart rate, all that stuff. On top of that, you're going to lose an opportunity to make a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
And I should watch. Trump's going to reverse it. Everything's going to be fine. And even if he doesn't, so what? You're not here to what do you say, V? What would your mentor say? What do you say? Hope is not a strategy, right?
Hope is not a strategy. You can crap in one hand and hope in the other, see which piles up faster.
Yeah. So people who are especially at Algo Factory, we're there to trade. You know what I mean? That's what we're there to do. We're there to actually take advantage of the volatility, right? So if you're just holding your crypto and you're not even taking a small percentage of it, sure, hodl it, man. The hodlers win more than anybody else with a very few exceptions. There's not a lot of guys who trade all of their crypto and do better than the guys who have hodled it going back to 2017, right? But by the same token, those who do know how to trade can break off a small percentage of their crypto or whatever it might be and make money on the volatility. So instead of, being all upset about it, you take advantage. AlgoFactory.tech, links in the description.
I think that's it, man. I think we covered the gambit of the major news of today. There's going to be more tomorrow. We got Burlingame this week. We have EM is back, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk to. Yeah, he's back. We had him last Thursday, I think, but you and I are going to talk to him here in about 10 minutes, so we kind of have a hard out.
Awesome. And with that being said, guys, we're at the end of the show. Lots of moving and shakings happening. This is only Monday, so keep it locked and loaded right here. God knows what's going to happen. We're transpiring the next 48 hours. Very critical for you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so when we are live and we post shows, you guys know you are alerted. And with that being said, Cowboy, take it away.